Hi, I'm Jill Ripley, host of Uncovering Your Inner Power, a podcast dedicated to helping people reconnect with their strength, resilience, and inner wisdom so they can step fully into who they're meant to be. My show focuses on personal empowerment, emotional growth, and breaking free from old patterns so we can move forward with clarity and confidence. Working with Kim Parkinson has been such an important part of my podcasting journey. I had the passion and the message, but Kim helped me understand the strategy, the structure, and the tools needed to actually grow my show in a sustainable way. What makes Kim so special is that she truly understands spiritual women and purpose-driven businesses. She blends deep knowledge of podcasting with kindness, patience, and genuine support. She doesn't just teach you the technical side. She helps you feel confident using your voice. I'm incredibly grateful for her guidance, and I wholeheartedly recommend her to anyone ready to share their message in a bigger way.
You've done the recording, you've done the editing, and now let's make it sound amazing. This is my secret sauce to making all of my audio and my clients' audios actually sound spot on, amazing. I'm going to tell you about the secret ingredient that I use right now. And you're listening to Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business. My name is Kim Parkinson, and this is Podcast Basics. And I am dedicating this entire episode on Auphonic. I love Auphonic. I have been using Auphonic for years, and it has recently updated and changed. And I don't know all of the ins and outs, but I will tell you one of the amazing things that it has done. It's added video. And so you can upload one video and it will actually scrub out the audio and add the video in, and it will normalize the audio. So amazing for those clients or those people that want to have video. And for those that just want to have audio, and maybe you have like a hum or a noise in the background and you can't get rid of it. Or I actually had a client reach out to me today, and what she said was, her sound was amazing, but her guest sound was really far away, and Auphonic will fix that. It'll change that. It'll normalize it, equalize it, make it all sound amazing. So podcasts typically are uploaded to your platform as MP3 files, and they are typically done in what we call -16 LUFS, LUFS audio. If you are doing audiobooks, by the way, that is a different LUF, okay? But if your audio is too quiet, what will happen is if somebody's on a podcast player, and let's actually back up here, because I think this has happened to you before. You on a podcast player, maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Overcast, maybe it's Podcast Addict, something. And you're on a podcast player and you're listening to a podcast, you're listening to my podcast, and it sounds amazing. And you're like, oh yes, I've got it on a certain level and I can hear everything. Perfect. Then you move over to your next favorite audio file, your next favorite podcast. You click on that and they sound so far away. They're so quiet that you then have to take the audio and you have to increase it. And that may not have come out correctly, but you'll have to increase it. Make that actually sound, click the button, make it, the noise go up so that you can hear it. Then the next one, maybe you're going to listen to another one that has used Auphonic before, and it sounds so loud. I don't know about you, but if you guys ever watch YouTube at your house on your big TV, which my husband and I do quite often, if we're watching Netflix and then we move over to YouTube, YouTube is like so much louder, We have to turn the volume down because it is just like, it just blares right in your ear. And so they're just not of equal sound, equal normalization. And so if you have an audio and people have said to you before, and I do say this to my clients, if I can't hear you, then you need to increase the volume. And how do you increase the volume? Well, there's a lot of different places, maybe like within your editing software, or use Auphonic because it's so easy, so simple. Now you can get a yearly subscription to Auphonic, which I do. Mine just updated actually today, I think. And I think I pay, I think it was like $140 for the year. And it does all of my production clients. And I usually have some rollovers, maybe once or twice a year. If we have a lot of different audio, I may have to buy one-time credits. Those one-time credits never expire. And the beauty of that is that they're like cheap. It's like, I think it's like 5 hours for 12 bucks, something like that. Super cheap. And they will give you a free trial, 2 free hours a month, but they now put in a little ad. So just know that it will say something about being on Auphonic at the beginning, at the end, or something like that. One of my clients had it and she was like, "What is this?" And I said, "Oh, you're using the free version. That's why." So just know that if you are using the free version, double check it, because it might say Auphonic somewhere there. Maybe not at all, but maybe they do. So just be aware. But you can definitely give it a run, a go, and see how it works. See if you love the sound better, which I am sold. I'm 100% sold. I learned about Auphonic when I first started taking podcast management school back in 2000. That particular school is now defunct, no longer around. But what I loved about it is she actually would take the files, the 2 files of a guest and a host, and she would upload those to Auphonic, then pull them down, then do the editing. And so she could really hear and have them normalized the same. And then she would send it back through. So with my using Descript as my first base, Descript does a little bit of normalizing for you, does a little bit of that equalizing. So I'm not as concerned with that on my first pass, but I always use Auphonic on the second pass. And it's just so much more noticeable. I had a client reach out to me recently and she was using a new microphone in a new studio. And there was a little bit of tinniness. There was a little bit of echo, which was completely removed by Auphonic. I didn't even worry about it. I even told her that. I said, "Oh, no, that'll be gone. Don't even worry about it." And it's true. It's absolutely true. It does an amazing job. Now, what you're going to do when you're in there is you basically, once you've done all of your editing, you're going to upload your file in the production. And then there's a whole bunch of different features there. You can go through them as much or as little as you want. When you upload, and there's going to be a whole bunch of information there. There's going to be that input file, the file you added in. Now you can add in an intro and an outro. This is actually where my outro gets added in to each podcast. I don't use Captivate for this particular one. I actually have it added right in Auphonic. You don't have to, you can. There is a little bit of a setup because there's like a time, like how many seconds do you want this to start after the other file or before the other file? So there is a little bit of a timing issue there, but it's amazing. Like you just hook it up to your Dropbox or your Google Drive and whatnot, and then you can add that right in. Then there's also some audio algorithms, like if you want some filtering or noise reduction, adaptive leveling, loudness normalization. They also have a whole section of automatic cutting, which also will remove some ums and ahs and things like that. I don't use that. Basically, what I use in that particular filtering is I do the filtering. I will sometimes do noise reduction if it's a really bad noise level in the background, adaptive leveling, and loudness normalization. And then they will also ask you about like speech recognition. I say no. And then there's a whole section for metadata. So metadata is really great for like podcast SEO and all of that, because that's like back of the house stuff that Google and Bing and AI is going to be reading. So if you have that basic metadata, you can absolutely add that in. So you can add in your title, you can add in a subtitle, you can add in your show notes if you wanted to, you could add in a cover image. You can do all sorts of different things. There's extended metadata and even chapter markers there if you wanted to. Then you get your output files, which is going to be hopefully an MP3, because that's really what you should be doing for a podcast. And then you can also do a video file if you wanted to. Now, there are some publishing. You can add services for publishing here. I don't use those. I don't do any of that. But I will basically use the audio algorithm of making sure that it's filtered, the adaptive leveling, and the loudness has been normalized. So once you have added all of those in, you can actually save and save your presets. And then all you have to do is select your preset each time, which is great. You can then hit start production. It will upload the file. It will do everything it needs to do. And then it just will email you and say, "Hey, this file is done. You can come back and download them." You download them and then you upload them to your host. Maybe you could add them to your host directly. I'm not sure. I haven't played with that. And then go. I love that. I love that it already has made everything so simple for you. So that is Auphonic, my secret sauce, my weapon of choice. I don't know what you want to call it, but I absolutely love it. And I really feel like it is just it's a tool that not enough people use, but is just increasingly becoming better and better and making things sound much more professional and sound just spot on. So if you're listening to this today, yes, it was run through Auphonic. Yes, it was edited in Descript. And yeah, I love it. I love Auphonic and what it does for all my clients' audios and videos, which is nice. It's a new feature, video. And it's I've been using the video feature with Auphonic since I believe January of this year. So if you've not given Auphonic a try, I highly suggest. I do have an affiliate link. I've dropped that down below if you wanted to give it a try and wanted to give me some affiliate love. I do get a little bit of a kickback from Auphonic if you use it. So thanks so much. And let me know if you just send out your audio without any kind of normalization, or if you do something for normalization of the audio so that the sound all sounds the same whenever you use it. I'd love to know. So drop me a link, kim@kpcreativemedia.com. And if you want to know more about how I use Auphonic, it is in the podcast production course that I have that I mentioned last week with Descript and Audacity. Auphonic has its own module right in there as well. So you can grab that in the link below as well. Until next time, where your voice flows, your business grows. Thanks so much for listening. This is Kim Parkinson, and this has been Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business. See you next week. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time with me today. If you're ready to deepen your visibility and grow your podcast in a way that feels aligned, come join my email list at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter, where I share exclusive guidance, support, and next steps. And if this episode resonated, I'd be so honored if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the most powerful ways to support the show and help other spiritual women discover it. Until next time, keep showing up and sharing your voice.